You're listening to the Minutes on Growth podcast, the show that brings you mindfully curated insights into relationships, spirituality, personal development, and everything in between, with your host, Tannaz Hosseinpour. Hi, everyone. It's Tannaz Hosseinpour, and welcome to Minutes on Growth. This week, I have the lovely Gbemi Giwa, brand strategist and entrepreneur. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Tannaz. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you on. I've been following you for a while on Instagram. A couple of months ago, we were doing the Women Talk Retreat, and I told Helen, we need to bring a dancer, but we need to bring someone who's on fire. And I was following you. I loved you. And it just all worked out because Helen was already taking your classes and you came and you did a wonderful session. It was just so much fun. You're just one of those people that I just love it when you post videos on your story because I know I'm going to be uplifted. So amazing. And you're only 26, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
So much success. It's just crazy. You have so many brands under your wing. Just tell us a little bit about how you've created all this success.
Thank you so much. So I would say the kind of start of this journey would definitely be when I was in university. I had a dream and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start a blog, right? This was the first time I really kind of started putting my ideas out before people that were not my immediate circle, right? Because when you're blogging on the internet, you kind of don't know who's going to read it. So my blog was called DubaiFitFoodie.com, and because of the name, which was an SEO trick that I didn't even realize I was doing, people based in Dubai, people who love fitness and food, when they search for stuff, my blog would automatically kind of come up because of that Dubai Fit Foodie, which is very SEO friendly. And the more kind of blog traffic I got, the more opportunities I got. So I started kind of working with restaurants and working with like gyms and other fitness facilities, so much so that by the time I actually finished university, I had like a job lined up kind of waiting for me based off of the work I already did with my blog. And that's how my career kind of unfolded, right? Because like you said, I am 26. I graduated uni at 21. So my first year out of uni, I was working with a restaurant because I'm so passionate about food. I love everything that has to do with food. And I think my career has definitely been modeled around my passions. It has not been conventional in any sense of the word. Traditionally, or I'm classically trained in design, I went to design school, but I left uni and started working for a restaurant as a communications expert because of how I've been able to communicate through my blog about food, right? From that restaurant, I kind of switched sides and moved into a design agency. It was also a kind of more of a PR agency, but I was working more on the digital team. And on that team, I was handling content creation for restaurants. And these were like really, really like brand names that you would know, like really huge restaurants. And I was in charge of digital campaigns for that. And it was a dream. I loved doing that job. But after a year on the job, classic millennial, I was like, you know what? I'm so over this. I'm going to go do my own thing. And this is how I kind of took the leap without even having much experience in business. And I started my first company in Dubai called Social Juice. Social Juice was a social media agency that was specified at creating content for food businesses only, right? And it was a huge success. And the reason why I had that confidence to leave my job without, to be honest, I really didn't know what I was doing, was because I had been able to kind of build my personal brand and my following up to a point that I knew that the moment I said I was going to be launching a product, I would have support, I would have clients lined up. And that was definitely the case for me, right? I had clients lined up from day one. And Social Juice, we kind of started doing its own thing. It was kind of like my first reality kick. When you think of creating content, right, as a content creator, it's different when you're actually kind of running a business, right? When you're running a business, you're not just creating content. You are doing your accounting, you're actually pitching for new clients, you're networking, right? There are taxes to be done. There's so much that goes into running a business that I feel at that point, I was 23, I wasn't necessarily kind of equipped for. So I easily got overwhelmed. And there were some things that I wished I didn't do, but I ended up doing, and I made some mistakes. But all in all, looking back now, I'm happy I made those mistakes because I have been able to learn from them. And I took all of that knowledge with me into my next venture, which, you guessed it, was about food. So I was like, oh my God, I love food. I'm African. I'm in Dubai. There's nothing that kind of mixed that healthy African food for me here. In fact, there's actually nothing in the world, because when you think African food, right, you think more of the, it's like home cooked, mama's made, there's lots of oil going on, lots of spices. And because I'd been blogging about healthy food for a while and I had been in that health space, I had literally at that point tried every single healthy restaurant in Dubai. I was that obsessed, right? And I was like, what if I came up with a concept that had elements of the healthy eating, which I love, but also had that flavors of home. It had everything that I love about my mom's cooking, everything that I love about going back home to Lagos. What would it be? It would be kind of like a catfish, right? People would think it was unreal. And literally, this is how catfish was born. And catfish is, I would say, one of my favorite brands I've created till date. Is my baby. I love everything that the brand stands for. And through catfish, I met my business partners. He actually found me on Instagram and he reached out to me, and then we got talking and we kicked it off. And
That's
then,
crazy.
I know, like the opportunities I've had through, blogging and just putting myself out there, even through the times I felt like, I wasn't confident enough. I didn't even know what I was talking about. But every single time I've made the choice to put myself out there, I've created opportunity for myself. And yeah, so that's how I'm where I am right now. I have my restaurant, I'm still creating content. And right now, what I'm trying to really do is empower other people to put themselves out there so they can create opportunities for themselves that can steer their life in the direction that they want to take it.
Amazing. That's so wonderful. It's crazy that you found your business partners on Instagram and just the organic growth. I felt like, you've climbed the ladders of success one by one, and then you've also taken a leap of faith and just put yourself out there. For someone who was at that age, how did you find the confidence? Like, where did that inner strength come from?
Right. It's very interesting that you mentioned it, is because I was so young and I didn't really think about what I was doing. I will admit that I have a very kind of impulsive personality. I get really, really excited about things really quickly, and then I act before I think. And then I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? Right. So I think that was the feel that kind of got me started. And then once I realized that other people had kind of bought into my vision and it wasn't just me, for me, it was like, oh, right, I actually have to do this now because it's more than just me. Other people are involved, which is kind of what the basis I teach people right now is, whatever it is that you have to say, regardless of what you think it is, there is an audience for you out there. There is someone out there that wants to listen to you. And if you're looking for confidence to put your voice out there, you need to realize that what you have to say is bigger than you. Don't make what you need to say about you. Make that message you need to share about the people that need to hear it. Even if you are blogging about food, even if you're blogging about photography, whatever it is that you're sharing, someone can learn from that, right? You can motivate someone, you can inspire someone. And the moment you kind of shift your mindset from, oh my God, this is about me, to this message I'm sharing, someone needs to hear it, your message becomes bigger than you, and you're even more motivated to put yourself out there. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So your message being just bigger than you. So there's
right.
You're catering to your audience, but you're using your personal experiences
right.
to empower them. That's wonderful. I had a question. You said that you did a lot of mistakes and you learned from your mistakes. And I'm assuming that your first business is no longer active, right? So when did you reach a point where you're like, okay, I've outgrown my business. It's time for something bigger?
Right. So it was about, I would say, maybe 18 months in, and we had a very small team, right? We were about 3 people in the game. And I realized that my strength was in actually doing the work and not necessarily in like the finance part and like the planning part, right? What I love to do was create content, but that is not how a business is run. It needs to have systems that work. And this is the biggest lesson I'm taking right now is there is no business that can be successful without the right operation funnels, right? So you need to have like proper funnels put in place. Systems are some things that people don't talk about a lot. Every business, for it to be successful, needs to have a system. When I say systems, I mean a sales system so that clients are consistently coming in. It needs to have a proper like people system so your employees are happy and everything is going in place. There's so many systems that happen, and I didn't have the equipment or I wasn't equipped in that sense. And because I was trying to do everything on my own, I wasn't speaking to other people who had done it before. I was just like, oh, I know this. I'm a good content creator. I can get it done. But that's not what business is about. Business is about leaning into other people, leveraging their experience, and obviously not closing yourself off to, obviously you're not going to take advice from everyone, but like finding a few trusted people that can kind of guide you is the key. Like right now in my life, if I am having struggle or problem with anything, I am more than willing to invest in someone who's done it and get them to give me that direction, because I know that it is so much worth it than me trying to struggle and figure it out on my own. I'll be saving myself time. I'll be saving myself money.
I love that. So that's what we tell people. We're like, that's why coaches and mentors exist. Like they have gone through this, and instead of just trying to figure it out on your own, reading 100 books and watching 100 programs, you can just pay someone to give you that insight and hold you accountable and give you just the tools that you need to succeed at a faster rate. Great. Okay, so let's talk about content creating. A lot of people on social media, they're creating content and they're putting it out there, but they're unable to turn that content and monetize it. Either it's because they feel uncomfortable doing it, and especially as a woman, I've noticed this too. Like it's harder to ask as a woman, whereas a man feels much more confident because of societal norms and just everything that's happened over in history. But just turning that content and making money out of it. Like, what would your tip be in this particular topic?
Okay, so I think that's a great question. And definitely, the thing is, as a content creator, right, it's a job. Right. It's hard work. And I believe that for every time you put in effort and for every time you work hard, there needs to be a reward. Right. So that reward can be, in the way that you feel, you giving value to other people. That can be really, really good for your ego and just like putting good stuff out there. But financial reward is something that as women, we struggle with maybe admitting that we want, or, we struggle with kind of like saying, oh my God, I like money. No, like this is a problem I had. But I say to myself every morning, I'm looking myself in the mirror, I'm like, I love money. Money deserves me. I deserve money, and these affirmations are the ones that kind of put me in that kind of mental space to accept money. I think as a content creator, one of the big things is that people kind of struggle to believe that they should be paid for the things that they enjoy doing, right? When people create content, they really enjoy doing that. And it's like, oh, I really love doing this. Is it really work? Should I be paid? No, you should be paid. And the way content creators need to kind of switch their mindset around is to start thinking of themselves as a business, right? And not just think of themselves as an individual person, right? Whenever you're showing up and creating content consistently, right, it's a business, it's a funnel, it's a system. And there's so many ways that content creators can be paid, right? You can be paid through brand deals, right? So when you do strategic partnerships with brands that align with your ethos, like this is one I like to be really, really careful with, because you can easily get carried away and you want to work with every brand because they're going to pay you a couple of $100 or thousands of dollars. But at the end of the day, once your audience starts to see that, that brand doesn't align with your ethos, it takes away from your core messaging. And you must realize that as a creator, you are nothing without the people who consume your content, right? So they need to always be aligned with you for you to have a successful long-term business. So if you make money off that brand deal, over time, people will start to see you for what you are, right? It's the internet. We see it. We understand. So that's one. Then the way I really personally like for people to kind of monetize their influence is through creating their own products, because you're creating, and this is something that I've done, right? I used to blog about food for the longest time, so I started a restaurant, right? I was blogging about fitness, so I have a dance company, right? So if you're creating some content around a particular topic and people can see how passionate you are about that topic, people are following you because of that topic. So it means they want to know more. It means that if you can help them achieve their goals with food or dance, in my case, for example, like if I create a product for them, they will consume that product and they will pay for that, right? As women, as content creators, we need to be okay to accept that what we produce is valuable, and that there has to be a monetary kind of value attached to that beyond, oh, it looks good, it's pretty. Like for me, I think this was one of the kind of biggest business realizations that I had. And it's not anything against men, but men don't struggle as much with this as women actually do, right? They're okay to be paid, they're okay to ask for what they want, but as women, sometimes we kind of struggle with that. So I would say when it comes to monetizing your influence, one of the best routes to go is to create your own product. And if you're creating content in a way that's giving value to people, you can actually organically, through your content, create demand for your product. And this is a smart way to go, in my opinion.
Amazing. You're so right. You're so right. I just love listening to you. Thank you for that insight. So I know that because, again, I keep following you and I read everything, you've completely shifted your Instagram handle. It's baby pink now. I love it. I love the tones and the color. You've also launched a program. Can you just tell us a little bit about like what you're focusing on now?
Right. So I've kind of done a lot over the years. And with this whole pandemic, right, I've really had time to come into myself and really think, oh my God, what do I really enjoy doing? And what has stayed true to me throughout all the projects that I've done? And for me, that has always been creating content and putting myself out there, right? And obviously finding a way to monetize my efforts and my action. And I'm like, all right, so other people need to know how to do this, right? Because no shade, but a lot of the content creators, that the bloggers I knew from way back, right, they're still creating content. And even though maybe in some cases their following might even be larger than mine, but that's it. They're still just creating content. They haven't been able to align a bigger strategy to what they're doing. And this is hard work. They're spending their time, they're spending their effort, but they're just doing it because now they just feel like, oh yeah, I should be doing it. But then there's no bigger overarching goal. So what I'm trying to do now is I've launched a program called DigiBoss Academy, which is specifically tailored for kind of digital savvy creators who want to turn their influence and monetize it and create like a wildly successful business out of their content creation efforts. And the whole idea is that I start to get into their mindsets, and I'm trying to talk to them and figure out why is it exactly that they show up every day, right? If it's a vanity metrics, then I'm so selective with who I'm working with. If it's because you want to be liked, if it's because you want to get free gifts, if that's your calling, then I'm like, it doesn't align with mine and I won't work with you. But if your values is to step out every day and provide value and be a thought leader, right, and create change in your space, then I genuinely believe that you should be paid for it. And my program is coaching you through how you can build a business around that, how you can actually kind of get compensated for your efforts, because it's important and it's so easy to do as well, right? It's not within you or outside your reach. It's very within your grasp, and you just have to step into yourself and take that action.
Oh, I love that. I think we need that now more than ever, because it's so important. Like this time alone at home has given us just the insights we need on how to show up to our life in an authentic way. Like that said, the world is shifting towards 5D. We're seeing everything through different lenses and through different perspectives. And what I love about your brand is you are the same person, you're just branching off in different ways. So you're branching off in food, you're branching off in fitness and dance, and now in, strategizing businesses and coaching other people to kind of accomplish what you've accomplished. But I think one thing that I really want to stress on is just being authentic. Like you've stayed authentic to yourself. A lot of times people think, okay, I can't change my career. No, you can, as long as it's still true to your core feelings, your core beliefs. And I sense that when I see, you doing all these different things. So I just wanted to put that out there for people.
Thank you.
Please do things that are authentic to you, that resonate with you, that are real to you, that, they mean something to you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so to just wrap things up, what would be just some tips that you have for people who have just entered social media or just entered into this new paradigm of, putting themselves out there? So just some final thoughts.
Okay, I think one of the first things I would say is if you're completely new, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed. you can make a seat for yourself at the table too. You just have to own it and step forward, right? There is space for you. There's space for whatever you have to say. There is value in you. You have a purpose, and you can build a community around your messaging, right? The one thing I would say is you need to really be understanding why it is you want to put yourself out there, right? Because for me, I always believe that once you can identify this bigger mission than yourself, this is what is going to help you when, things are tough, when you're a bit worried about, oh, why is no one following me? Why no one liking my content, right? When you realize that it's not about you, it's about them, and then you can shift your mindset and focus more on creating value and creating community, then that would be really, really good. And even as a creator myself, just to give, an experience, like I've shifted my career path over time, right, across the years. And I've had my core following kind of stay with me and stick with me through that. And, I've been very young since I started all of this, right? And just because I said I was a food blogger doesn't mean that I had to be a food blogger for the rest of my life. Like I have to, because I'm true to who I am, I have to really kind of go with the flow of my life. It's been very, very public as well. Like my mom is like, oh, right. So you're no longer a food blogger? I'm like, yeah, mom. Yeah, now we're doing something. So there's all of that. And I have all of those fears as well. But I would be lying to myself. If I was still blogging about food right now, I would be doing myself a disservice, right? Because this is not who I am. This is not what I align with anymore, right? I've been able to grow, right? I see myself more. I'm still a creator, but I see myself as more of an entrepreneur now because that's what I love. I love building businesses and I want to help other people kind of do the same. And I want to be able to share that. So, don't get too stuck in your head or too stuck to an idea. Don't get too attached to a feeling. It's life. People move on, right? And don't even be too bothered. Oh my God, everyone's looking at me. What will this person think? What will that person think? When I first started my blog, a lot of people were like, oh, you're blogging now because, right? But no, these are the same people. They're like, oh yeah, my friend is a blogger. Okay, so it's one of those ones where if you stay true to yourself and put in the work, things will align in your favor for sure.
Oh, thank you. I love that. And you mentioned consistency a few times, and I think that's so important as well. I think just being consistent with your message, just to get an organic following and just being authentic, being consistent, being hardworking, and being confident and true to yourself. Thank you so much, Gbemi, for this wonderful episode. You've shared so much insight, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to love what you've had to say. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tannaz, for having me. It's been a real pleasure. I hope I didn't talk too fast, but
No, it's been amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this week on Minutes on Growth. If you enjoyed today's episode, then make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now.